enough. There is a saying which says that, if you plan the best, your execution is easiest. Like, 80% in countries like Japan, where 80% of time is put on your planning and then 20% of time is execution, they have a very high success rate. So we always, as a business analyst, everything goes into your planning. So how best you plan would make sure how best your project outcome would be. So why do projects fail when there are so many people who are taking care? There is a business owner, there is a project manager, there's a business owner, there's a project manager, and then we have a subject matter experts, we have solution developers, we have so many other folks. There's a hierarchy of engineers, there's a hierarchy of managers. Then why do we fail? There are a lot of business analysts as well, by the way. And client says they will help you to the best. Project manager says they would help you to the best. Subject matter expert says they would help you. Everybody in the world is helping. Then why is the project failing? Then there should be no reason for the project to fail. The reasons could be the maximum part of the thing will go into people not being interested in what they're developing. That's because I'll take an example of a telecom software. Telecom industry is one industry which keeps changing every day. If you observe the trends in telecom, every day there is a new product which is coming out of telecom. Like, we had Eraedge for 3G, and then suddenly there is 4G, and all of a sudden there is mobile portability in India. So, there are a lot of changes which are coming every day. So, so once you say that, okay, now I'll upgrade my system to give 4G, to give 3G, and then everybody would make the necessary changes, and all of a sudden they have a 4G. So rather than upgrading themselves to 3G, they can always go to 4G. I'm just giving you a lame excuse. It could be into the billing transaction. I'm just giving you a lame excuse. So, they would always want to what is trending at that point of time rather than having something which is old-fashioned. So that is one major resource of why they're not there, why the projects fail. So most of the projects after they're initiated are called back. So I would take an example. I would take an example here where I was working for a project, and we worked on the requirements. The high-level designing was done. Developers had started coding, and then QA had also started working on their test cases. But all of a sudden, after 20 days or 1 month of work going into it, this was a 3-month project, which was again for telecom billing. We had to call up the project. The reason being, all the other mobile data providers had already given had already put that project feature in place. So there was no value addition by adding that new feature into this product as well. So the business owners thought that they would write off this project and then not go ahead with it. They were already spending a little money on it, but they were not ready to spend any more money onto it. So that's one thing. And sometimes what happens is, once the project goes live, that's when the kind of monetary implicit monetary things will come into picture. So, once you start working on the project for 2 or 3 months, that's when people will realize that, this would cost you. It may not be cost effective, and the return on investment, the ROI will not help. ROI will not be successful. That would be another resource. And then we have reasons for incomplete requirements. Incomplete requirements will come into picture where, I would again take the same example. We were working on a telecom billing software, as I told you. So when we were working on a telecom billing software, we worked on different, we worked for different divisions, which included, the connectivity, the billing, the, network services. We were working for marketing team, we were working for sales team to understand what the requirement was. But finally, we had missed on one requirement where we had to check if the network would support such a billing pattern, or such calls. network was not able to support such kind of data usage, and we had to call off the project. That is one project which we had to call off because of incomplete requirements. Somehow we thought, the network was all time ready, but we didn't check if the network was ready to provide such data services to all the users, whoever would enroll. The second would be lack of user involvement. Lack of user involvement is also very important, and this is, this gets into places where we have people from multiple backgrounds or different backgrounds, their work culture, their communities, the places where they come from, or the kind of relationship they have with each other. When we all are working as a team, there would be people who may not be interested in the project or giving you the right inputs. Or these people would, sometimes work on killing the morale of the project team. Or sometimes the user says that, they are just too busy to give time for this project. Like, I was working for a government healthcare project. The director couldn't give us the required time to, to give the right requirements and then jot it out. So because there was lack of time, or, the user involvement could not happen, we had to call off the project. Calling off the projects in IT environment is very common, so people are still okay with it. And then we have unrealistic expectations. As I told you, the incomplete expectations, we thought it would happen, if the network would support, but network actually did not support us. So it's a very normal practice. That's because, it involves a lot of money. So, people will think of, rather than investing more money and losing it end of the day, it's always to lose whatever they have invested so far. So at end of the day, it all boils down to what are you investing, what is your return on investment. Lack of executive support.
Is there a source?
I don't have the source with me now.
Okay, that's fine. The other thing is, 39%, I cannot read it properly, the whole sentence.
Okay, it's the lack of resources. It didn't need it any longer. Lack of IT management and technical illiteracy. Changing requirements, people will have a specific requirement at this point of time, and then they would say that we will want a different requirement. If the requirement falls into a scope, or if it is a simple one, then it's okay. Requirements changes can be accommodated, but if they fall out of scope, that's when it will create a problem. And then lack of planning is one more thing. People do not tend to plan. All that they try to do is, try to implement the software and say that, we are working on it, it will be implemented in a specific time. But no, you have to plan when which release is going into picture, what requirements will be gathered, who will be the persons who would give the requirements, who will be the persons who would develop it, who will go for the QA, and in spite for all this, we have to identify the right stakeholders and plan it in the right way. Like, it could be our developers, it could be QA, it could be people from the client's location, or it could be people within your organization. At the same time, you also have to plan what kind of money would be released at what point of time. If you do not plan any of this, if you miss planning any of this, your project is bound to fail. So this is something which all of us know. Okay, so why are we discussing about errors so much now? There is always this discussion on, once the project is live, once the product is implemented in at your client's location, if they find out at that point that, the product does not suit them, it is a huge investment error from the product side. So whenever, if you keep correcting it at the initial stages of your project, that's when the kind of investment loss incurred by the organization would diminish. So, this shows you. Now, I have a question for everybody. What do you think a business analyst does? Should PMs do what BAs do and vice versa? What do we actually do? Anybody please answer?
The business analyst is a liaison between the technical guys and the business users, because the technical guy will not understand the business and the business users will not understand the technical stuff. So basically the business analyst is going to write the requirements in a simple language so that the the technical people will understand it. And the PM cannot be, should the PM do BS do? No, I think that's a total, that's a different job for PM, because he's going to look at the management of the project. Though there are cases, in one or two cases, wherein a project manager also does a BA job to some extent, but most likely project managers are, the business analyst will report to the project manager, and the business analyst mainly coordinates with the technical team, with the business users, but the project management, he leads the team to do the job.